Tonight on the Assiduous podcast, Renee introduces his girlfriend.
This is my girlfriend, by the way. Everyone that doesn't know, this is my lovely girlfriend.
And reveals a secret admirer.
I have a DM from a girl right now, and she just put "let's f***."
Will Renee make it out of the doghouse?
DM is.
Or will he be forced to give up his phone?
Before she
Is there
lived
something in there I can't see?
Find out tonight on the Assiduous podcast.
Gentlemen, boys and girls, it is I, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. He is a serial entrepreneur, the Filipino Prince Tycoon, Renee Lacotte, and this is the founder of Alchemy Curve. And this is Assiduous.
Woo!
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite an intro.
No, is it? It's a lot. You
I
like
didn't understand like half of it.
So how'd you like that? Rate our intro from like 1 to 10. We've been doing this for a long time now. This is episode 9.
Yeah, it's very catchy. I give it a 9.
All right,
You're the first guest on here too.
This
is my girlfriend, by the way. Everyone that doesn't know, this is my lovely girlfriend.
Yes. Hi.
Caro Vie, and she's gonna be our first guest.
I know. I don't know what to expect here.
I mean, to be honest, it was kind of like a business podcast, but it just became like we talk about punching babies and like.
Oh my God!
Right.
What were you guys talking about? Punching babies? Like what?
Yeah, we were testing out our punching pod, then we even brought in a visual aid. Like nobody knows where that child is.
But wait, how did punching babies even get to the topic?
Oh, because we were talking about punching old people. Yeah, so then it transitioned into, because obviously when you think old people, then you think babies, because it's the end of life and the beginning of life.
My love, what do you think is more powerful, a baby or an old person?
A baby.
Is more powerful than an old person?
Absolutely.
If a baby and an old person got in a fight, who would win?
The baby.
You think a baby would
What?
beat an old person?
Yeah,
Like,
because the baby, like, they're so vulnerable, and it like brings something out in us that we just want to protect the baby.
No.
So why would?
So the
somebody want
weakness
to
would become the strength.
Yeah, sometimes weakness is your biggest strength. Yes.
I still think the old person don't wipe the floor with the
This
child.
is why we need like the feminine perspective on the show, because we're like, man, the old person will fuck that baby up.
Facts.
No, because it's like, no, the baby. It's like everybody's gonna want to protect the baby.
No, okay, but let's say you trap them in an arena, like a
Right.
cage, UFC cage.
Right.
You put a baby and an old person in there.
And a referee who has zero empathy. Me.
It will. Well, I think a person would try to save the baby.
No.
No.
Like, that doesn't exist. Like, they're in the cage.
What do you even like? What?
It's survival. Okay, here's a better way to put it, right?
But you said a referee, so there's a person that's gonna be witnessing it.
No, yeah, but the referee is
It's
there
him.
just
It's him.
to figure out who the victor is. So
Yeah, who wins?
ultimately, it's survival of the fittest, right? So it's this
you're
baby,
a bystander.
and it's the old man, right? And ultimately, whoever loses, well, you die. So basically, it's the old man
We're gonna
and
get a YouTube strike.
and the baby who
And do
wins.
they have food in there and stuff?
No, you gotta fight.
They're not living in there. They're fighting.
Could you
Wait,
imagine?
So they're like fighting.
Yeah,
The old
UFC
person and
fight.
the baby. Obviously, like I think the old person's gonna look at the baby and be like, I don't want to harm it, so it's
my
gonna like let it win.
This is how a lot of our conversations go. I'll be like, all right, so a baby, old person.
Oh.
Well, no, the baby's gonna be protected, and the old person.
I think so.
Do they have food in there? Are they okay?
Women hate hypotheticals. They can't
No, I really
stand it.
do not.
They hate
I do
hypotheticals.
not. Most of our arguments is because of discussions like this.
Hypotheticals, yeah. It's literally just like random things, and I'll say stuff, and she's like, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't exist. It's bad.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
So okay, now next question. How old? Can we agree that the old person will win in a fight? Do you agree?
I mean, yeah, if they actually were gonna fight the baby.
At what age will a kid be able to beat an old person? Like what? Like
At 12.
12.
12?
At 12.
That's actually a pretty accurate. Yeah, I would say 11, 12.
I
I've
would
been
say 12.
watching like videos of like
baby
kids killing
fight.
their own parents.
Whoa, hold on.
Like there is that. There's like, a lot of women love watching murder interrogations.
No,
but that's like our
Yeah,
thing.
but
We love watching crime.
you said video. You didn't even preference this as you're watching series. You said I'm watching videos
No, yeah,
of these
because it's
kids
like,
just killing their parents.
Like crime crime interrogations or like murder interrogations.
Oh, because I was under the impression it was like, yeah, I can't. A baby fighting the old person won't want to fight it, but these teenagers killing their parents. I watched the stabbing yesterday. Like, that's crazy.
There's so many. Like, I literally watched so many of these stories of kids killing their own family. Like, there was this guy. He killed his entire family: his sister, his brother, his dad, and his mom.
Were you watching Naruto? Like, what was it?
Lion King?
Right? Like, somebody just murdered their entire family?
It's so sad, but
what was the backstory? Why did they do it?
So he said, I don't know like the full scoop of everything, but he said that he believed they were gonna eat him. So they putting him to like a mental hospital instead of him going to jail because they think he's crazy. Because he was convinced that his family was gonna try to eat him. So as self-defense, he killed all of them.
How old was he?
I don't remember, but he was like a teenager.
He was a teenager. He was afraid of being eaten?
Yes.
Was he a white guy?
If you Google it, like if you have your phone, like we can search
Jeffrey
it up,
Dahmer might pop up.
No, he was from Mexico.
People.
Ah, crazy.
Yeah. It just happened like literally maybe a few weeks ago.
Ah.
Oh, it just happened?
It was like fresh news.
He must have been watching Dahmer then. He must have just thought, oh, what is it like to eat somebody? And then immediately...
He was like saying like, oh, my family's gonna eat me. So like the neighbor came to the scene when everybody was dead and he told the neighbor like, oh, they were gonna eat me. So I like killed them.
That's like some major paranoia. Was he on drugs?
I don't know. So guys, I don't know. I just like this popped up on my YouTube. I saw like a little 10-second clip of it. I'm like, holy shit. And I just carried on with my day.
Eat me.
Yeah, no, teenagers, like, some of them, they be really...
Why do you think that girls like to watch this type of stuff?
I was going to ask the same thing.
Yeah.
I have a theory.
What's your theory?
I think that we like to just look at the worst case scenario so we can mentally prepare what we would do in that situation. So it's like, okay, for example, we watch a lot of those like crime interrogations of like boyfriends killing their girlfriends. So we like to watch it. So we're like, okay, what would they do? And I think it's a subconscious thing. Like what would actually go down so that we can mentally prepare to not be as vulnerable.
But it's still happening. You guys aren't doing a very good job.
That's just my theory.
I would do this. And oh, well, it looks like you died. What you gonna do now? You know, but that's interesting.
I think that's my theory. I feel like Because why else? Because it's a common thing. Like it's
I think girls just like the drama.
A lot of girls like.
I
think it's a drama behind it.
You buy into the story. You're like, oh my god, like this happened. And you buy into the story. Because if you want to sell a good story, what do you have to do? You have to like add a little bit of suspense to it, add some drama, add like a tragic ending. Because if you think about like a murder mystery, it's like this lady died. Here's how, and you're like, and you don't want it to happen to you, so you're like, let me learn.
Isn't it like a subconscious thing that you're like, okay, let me put in the shoes of that story. How would I defend myself? I think it's like a subconscious thing of us trying to like defend ourselves or see like the worst case scenario things.
So how would you defend yourself?
What do you mean?
If someone's trying to kill you, how would you defend yourself?
Like what would you do?
I would look at the red flags. I wouldn't be in that situation. So it's like we look at these murder interrogations and be like, okay, these were the red flags that they missed. This guy was a bit too controlling. They were doing this. So then you would like stay away from that.
Yeah, so what are the red flags? That lighter topic, what are the red flags that girls should watch out for?
A guy that's controlling, like doesn't let you wear what you want to wear. You need to stay exactly where you are at all times. Super aggressive, like very loud. You know, just like.
I was thinking of like a DJ.
Not like that.
I'm super loud all the time.
Yeah, but like, you know, aggressive, like controlling boyfriends that are like, hey, you fucking bitch, like, you know, like.
Oh
swearing.
That's you don't want somebody just
like
swearing at you, right?
What else?
Somebody that can't control their emotions.
Okay.
Super obsessed.
Yeah, I think if you're a guy, you should be able to control your emotions.
Obsessed
100%.
with you?
Yeah,
okay.
super obsessed, like.
I feel like I'm super
bombing,
obsessed.
Like super love bombing. No, you're not like, you're cool. Like you're not like, oh my God, you're everything, blah, 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 blah. Like, you know, you're not over the top, because I think those guys that are super obsessed, if you reject them, they don't know what to do with it, and they may turn to violence and being like, well, if I can't have you, nobody's gonna have you, and I'm gonna kill you.
Ah, okay.
Crazy.
You know?
That is, I agree with everything you said. I think a guy should be able to control their emotions. But also, I do have something to say about that, because she'll be like, how come you're not obsessed with me? Because like sometimes I'll be busy, and then she'll be like,
I don't ask that. I don't want him to be like obsessed with me, because then I can't breathe.
You want him obsessed with you on your terms?
yeah.
It's like it's not obsessed. It's like pay attention to me. Like that's it. Like a little affection. But we don't even have a problem like that, because I feel like
yeah.
We don't. It's
We
just
got it
like
good.
sometimes when he's working and I want to talk, he's like, I'm busy. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think as a guy though, you should be busy, cause the good thing, cause that means you're not. If I'm playing video games, it's different. Then it's
No,
like,
see, that's where I have the problem actually, because I want him to work. So
Yeah.
when he's working and I'm like, oh, okay, he's busy. It's like, okay, whatever. I'm like, damn, I wish we could like spend some time. I'm like, he's working, I get it. But when you're sitting at the couch and I'm looking over and he's like playing his stupid freaking video games on his phone, I'm like, okay, let's watch a movie, let's cuddle, and he's like, me. That's like what's annoying.
I get
like,
why
get
you
off
do
your
that.
phone.
Though. Those video games be fun. Like, it'd be
Yeah.
fun.
bro. And like the thing is, no matter who it is, nobody's immune to it, right?
Right.
You look at like the busiest people in the world. Like LeBron will like jump on Xbox every once in a while, and it's
Yeah.
like LeBron James. You saw Andrew Tate playing Super Smash Brothers with his brother.
Yeah.
It's like I think video games just do something to guys where they're like, ooh.
We all have our interests.
Yeah.
In different.
And the thing is, I'm not a video game guy. Like the first year we dated, I didn't touch one video game.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, what happened? Like, why you?
You just
Did you want to play video game, but you didn't want to play it in?
no.
per
I've
pres-
never owned any systems. I've never been a video game guy. I've never been that guy. But I think just when you're in a relationship, right? Like you settle in. So like I started settling in. I'm like, man, I need new hobbies. Because before my hobby was like texting girls and stuff. But I'm a loyal man. I don't do that no more. So it's like, what new hobby should I do?
Maybe like taking a girl out and
We go on dates. We go on
Yeah.
dates
Yeah, that's true.
every week. So it's like you can't fill up every second of your time. So I'm like,
That's true.
man, like sometimes I just need to decompress. So I start playing video games.
You need
but
to disconnect.
Yeah.
but I'm changing the habit. I'm going back to chess.
Okay.
So the only video game now that I'll play is like chess, because at least it's like productive.
Yes, because I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm like, babe, please stop. Like, we're not in high school. We're not in college.
I agree.
Because the games he plays, it's like, it's not, I don't think you need to use any brain power. It's literally like, tuk, 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 tuk,
Hey, listen, my Pikachu was using Thunderbolt
And
on a
it's
water type
do
Pokemon.
something more
But how long do you play the video?
Oh, put your
Dog.
screen time.
Dog, I'll
It'd be
get-
like 5 hours a day, 6
see,
hours a day.
that's
No.
that's
So
wild.
no, what'll happen? This is what'll happen. If I start something, I'm the type of person. If I start, I'm gonna
You wanna
see them
finish.
finish it.
Right.
So I'll start a Pokemon game. I'll fucking bang through it. It's not even. It's like 9 hours. I just smash
It's a
through.
lot.
I said this in the last podcast. I would
Yeah.
just download it, smash through the entire fucking thing.
Right.
But then I'll delete it after I'm done, and I'll just move on to the next thing. So now
And
I'm
the
back to
times that
chess.
you're not playing the game, are you productive?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
100%.
you've earned the right to do so. I think you've gotten to a point where you could play the game. It shouldn't be that
Yeah.
problem.
I think it's because like living with him and seeing how much he's playing the game sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
like before it was like really bad. We wake up, he's playing the game. I like do my own thing upstairs, I come down, I'm like, oh, he's probably working, playing the game. I'm like, every time I glance over, he's playing the game. So for me, I have the impression all he does is play the game all day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I agree. I like that's the one thing where I'm like, this is the one part of my life where I need to improve. But then now I've deleted everything, so I'm back on
Yeah,
track.
yeah, now you're better. Before it was like, oh my God, what has happened?
As soon as I download it, bro, I'm on that shit.
What were you playing that had you
Pokemon.
so,
I'll download
what?
a Pokemon game. All of them, bro.
So you're just going from Kanto to Johto to Hoenn to
yeah,
all
I'll
of
get all of them.
Good God.
Yeah, because you're like, you're in a
Yeah.
flow. You're like, let me smash this
I
Pokemon.
was big into Pokemon when I was younger. It's hard for me now because the tagline was to catch them all, and they have like 1,000 Pokemon. You can't catch them all, so what are you gonna
Yeah.
You know who caught them all? This motherfucker right
No,
here.
do? There it is. You made it
So,
up.
yeah, it's just like, I think I have a personality type where it's like, I need that. Like, I like being successful in whatever I do. So if I'm doing business, I'll be successful in that, right? I'll get a win. But the same win, because one time she walked in here, I had just made like 10 grand in a day. She walks in and I'm like, woo, yelling. I'm on the phone with one of my boys. I'm like, woo. But you get that same feeling from the game. Because you download the game, you catch all the Pokemon. I'm like, woo, I'm the motherfucking Pokemon master.
Yeah.
So, but I understand it's not attractive for a woman to like see their man playing a video game. Do I get less sexy when you see me playing a video game?
Yeah, that's just my preference. Some other girls don't mind it, but that's who I am.
No, I think every girl.
So is it incapable to be sexy playing video games?
Incapable?
Like,
Like,
it's-
you can't be sexy and play video games?
Yeah.
I feel like if it's your career, like there's gamers,
Right.
like that's their
If
career.
you
No,
make
like
money.
sexy while playing video games. Like, okay, him sitting here doing his thing, you would consider, that's sexy, right?
Yes.
But then let's just say you put a controller in his hand. Now is it sexy?
If I'm making like, I know let's say I'm like ninja and I'm making.
No, you're not making any money.
Oh, yeah.
This is just, it's
no,
a
I
hobby
don't
of
think
his.
it's sexy.
R.I.P.
But there's occasions. For example, is his friends over? Is it a special occasion? Is it like a holiday? Like, there's a time and place for everything. So if it's an occasion and he's doing it and he's with his like friends and they're having fun, that's cool. Like have fun. But if it's like a daily habit or I see it often,
right,
I don't think it's attractive. Like I'm like, oh my God. Like that's my ick.
Okay.
And that has always been my ick. I never.
So what do you think some icks are for girls? Like common icks that girls would have.
I can't speak for all girls, but
No, just
I
what,
can
like,
speak.
what-
in
yeah.
general, in generalities.
Well, like I'll tell you some guy icks. I think some of the biggest guy icks is when a girl asks for money. That's a big guy ick. It's a big guy ick.
100%.
You know, because here's the, and I'm not even saying like anything against that. Like I'm cool with like paying for a girl's stuff, but when she asks for it or like has like an expectation, I think that's an ick a little bit.
But really, I feel like there's some certain men that like it, I understand it's like, oh, can I send me $200 or like
Ick.
that's weird.
Yeah.
But if they're like, oh, I really want to get this, it's
Yeah,
really
a
nice.
hint is different than like
Right.
then
send me the money.
Okay, because
Right.
like some guys feel
Yeah.
pride in like being able to.
Well, like when we first started dating, right? Like I would buy stuff like the shoes, the Balenciagas. You were like, oh, I really want these brown ones. I was like, okay, noted. But you weren't like, buy me these. If you said buy me
Okay.
these, I'd be like, that's gross. But you're
Okay,
like,
I get it.
I really
That's
want
not-
these. So then I was
that's
like,
not
cool, noted.
Okay.
I hit it, right? Like, what are some icks like for you? If like a girl does anything, what's like a big ick for you?
Well, for one, ask for money is definitely
That's a- bro, that's the biggest ick.
that's a large one. I think probably also initiative. I have an issue with like women who don't take initiative for like anything, because it's one thing to like, all right, plan a date. I think that should be on the
Yeah.
dude. You go and plan it. But let's just say if we have commonality between us, we like to enjoy particular kinds of movies or something. Like let's say we liked watching John Wick. We watch
Yeah.
movies together. John Wick 4 comes out or something like that. If you don't have in your mind, hey, the movies just come out, we should go see it, or maybe you go get the ticket, or you set it up to where it's in my mind, hey, we watched this together, we bonded over this. Now the opportunity to further bond over it is here, and you're waiting on me to now initiate that, despite the fact that it's something that we enjoy together. That's always been something that I've found as an ick for me.
Is this a specific situation? Because it's
No,
specific.
no. It's just I said like movies, because John Wick, I watched it on the plane when I was coming
Okay.
over here, so I was like, all right, that was in my mind.
Okay, so it's like the girl doesn't ever suggest.
Like
do
that doesn't
anything.
suggest do anything, or it's like you
Okay.
just sit there and you're just waiting for somebody
Okay.
to go in. All right,
Oh,
we should do
yeah.
this, we should do that. It's like you're on for the ride, I guess.
Okay, that's interesting. Do you think I'm like that? Because I feel like.
Yeah, you want to do stuff all the time. You text me. You're like, we should go on a date here.
Okay, so but like, okay, so you mean like, because what I'm getting, what you're saying is like suggesting specific things.
Right. No.
But
It's not even specific.
then-
It's just across. Like if you're in a situation, like let's say whether you're
Yeah.
actually dating or you're just like whatever the
Yeah.
case is, like primary court appointment, whatever it might be. If you're in a situation where you're with somebody and they say nothing,
like, not even
as it
like, oh, let's
pertains to
hang out.
let's hang out, let's do
Okay,
anything.
yeah,
You're
that
just
is-
there. It's like you're a human leech at that point. That's always
Yeah,
been.
and that shows like absolute no interest and
Yeah.
effort.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
a big ick. That's true. You know
Yeah.
what, guys? I think that's like ick for everybody.
Well, no, I think here's my
Because
thing.
it's like there's no effort. There's
If
no
a girl
interest.
likes you, she's gonna want some of your time. I tweeted this. I was like, hey, your girl should want your time, right? Like for me, I know like the one thing I really like about you is when I'm working, every moment you get with me, you cherish it, and it means a lot, and it's really sweet, and it gives me feedback. I'm like, oh, she really loves me. She really likes me. I couldn't imagine being a guy and your girl doesn't want to spend time with you, and your girl's kind of like, oh, go work. I don't want to hang out with you. It's like, yo,
Yeah.
red flag, but you really like spending time with me, so it makes me feel good, you know?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
what
that
is
would
like
definitely be an ick.
what is your ick? for
Video
guys?
games.
Video games.
Video games.
For the guys watching this, there's actually good stuff. Because
Okay.
we say it all the time, like stop playing video games,
Right.
focus on something else.
Also, what you said, like not taking initiative, like I don't know. It's just an ick when the guy expects the girl to plan things, and like, oh, you do it. Like I'm just gonna be there. I'm just going with the vibes. Like I like a guy that takes the initiative. Like, oh, I have this planned for you and that, because then it shows like there's effort, this interest. So if a guy shows like low effort, ick. One, this is when I was single, when I was dating. If they don't feed me, like, especially like if you're staying over their house and they don't make you breakfast or like feed you, that's like a big ick.
I can agree to that.
Specific.
That's not too specific. That's not too specific. Because here's my thing. I tell all guys this. With every single girl, if you're dating anyone, every woman I've ever dated has always been taken care of. you know? And I'm not being a simp. I'm not like, oh, do you need anything? Do you need? Like, I'm not a simp at all.
Fed.
Yeah, it's like, what do you want to eat?
Yeah, I think eating is the basic thing because I feel like I believe men should like take care of their women.
Yeah.
They should be their providers, and how you show that is by feeding them. Like, it's not about buying.
It's not
like,
even feeding them though. It's making
sure. I think because it's the basic necessity of life.
Feeding is like
food.
bare minimum.
Okay.
So
But
it's like, for example, like it's not about buying bags and trips.
Yeah, that's excessive.
It's about like, are you taking care of me? Are you feeding me? I think for me that's a love language. Food is a love language.
Well, it's just being cordial, I think. Like if there's a girl and she's there, you can be like, are you good? You have everything you need? You're
yeah,
okay?
If you're spending
100%. I think
like,
that's
are you
important.
Thirsty?
Yeah.
Like if you're in somebody's house, like, are you thirsty?
It's just making them comfortable.
No. Like for example, when we first started dating and I was staying in the guest room, I went in and there was a Pop-Tart next to the bed, and I was like, oh my God, he put a Pop-Tart next to the bed. Like,
that's how you get some pussy.
He's
put
giving
a
me a little. Okay, babe.
Old Pop-Tart.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he's giving me a little snack. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. I think it's, So it's an ick when a guy doesn't do that stuff.
No, because the big thing, guys don't realize this. You don't have to do a lot.
Right.
You know, even no matter how pretty the girl is, it's more so the effort that matters. Because women, they don't care about like, guys think, oh, if I have a lot of money, I'm going to get bitches. That's super untrue. Because women don't care about money. They care about like obviously the money is nice, right? But the money just affords different things. So what women care about is the effort you're putting in and the comfort. So for her, she got here, and I know she liked Pop-Tarts. We went to Target, we got a Pop-Tart.
That's intention.
Yeah, so I was like, cool, let me put a Pop-Tart next to her bed before she goes to sleep in case she gets hungry. And to her, it was like to me, it was such a small thing. It was just common courtesy, being a good person. And she's like, oh.
Even going on dates, right? If you go on a date with a girl and you're doing like an activity, like a water activity or going to see alligators, whatever. There's not necessarily like a food date. It's still nice for a guy to be like, hey, are you hungry? Do you want like water? I think it would be an ick if you go on a date with somebody, even if it's not a food date and they don't offer you food. Like,
yeah, I think that's the biggest thing because it comes down to intention. I think it comes down to intention because especially since you mentioned you coming to somebody's house and them not feed, because I'm staying with you.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't here, how would you feed yourself?
Yeah.
And then now I am here. You're gonna eat for one? That's bizarre.
Yeah.
So you would assume, hey, you could make some food for the two of us or perhaps get food for the two of us, but it'd be odd for you to just feed yourself and not feed me.
I think one of the indicators for women and like something that builds attraction with women and men, when women look at men, they look at like, is he capable of taking care of me, my kids, etc., his people? You know, so like women are attracted to bosses. They're not attracted to rich guys. They're attracted to bosses because there's a difference between a rich guy and a boss. Any NBA player, any athlete, any rapper, they're rich guys, but they're not all bosses. Some of them are just rich guys. A boss is like a Jay-Z, a LeBron James, a Kevin Hart. Like they walk in the room and everyone's taken care of.
You mean like maybe like a leader?
Like a leader, yeah, exactly. Like, because let's say I'm just a rich guy. I'm a rich guy, but I'm so clueless about like, oh, nobody's good. I walk in. I'm rich, but everyone else is hungry, right? And I'm not socially aware. I'm clueless to that. But LeBron James walks in. He has 50 employees. They're all feeding their families. They're all good. Hey, you good? Hey, you good? Everyone okay? Like when a woman sees a guy walk in the room and he's the big boss and he's taking care of everyone, like he's paid because of me. He's paid because of me. And he's not flexing it. He's just like, are you good? Everything's okay? There's attraction there, right? So that's why like a lot of like unfortunately, like secretaries and stuff will sleep with their bosses because they see the boss and they're like, that's the boss right there. They build attraction. So I think that's kind of what it is at like a
leader, essentially like a leader.
And generous, I think like girls look for guys that are generous. So it's like generous with your time, generous with your resources.
Yeah.
I think that's like anything that's lacking generosity is like an ick, you know?
Yeah,
and then
stinginess scares girls away.
Yeah.
Lazy, like, texters or like, what are you doing with the WYD?
Yeah, WYD.
Or like,
I don't know about all that.
that's an ick for me.
But I was
like,
a lazy texter.
We didn't really even text.
Yeah, y'all was in person.
Yeah, we didn't even text. And if we sent voice notes.
Fair.
Like, I can't. Like, all like in the past when I was dating guys that just like, what you doing? Like, not FaceTiming me, not putting in effort. It's just, I just ghosted them because I'm like, this is dead end.
Yeah.
Oh, so you support ghosting?
Yeah, because I'm like, you're not putting any effort. I'm not gonna put any effort. I'm just gonna check out.
What are your thoughts on ghosting?
I've always been one to say, I'm going to send you a message. I'm going to let you, it's clipped. It's over.
Like, it's not, for me, it's never been that deep.
No,
never been that like close for me to explain anything to you. Like.
Fair enough. For me, I just always, because I don't know if it's closure or something of that nature, but I've always felt the need to, hey, I'll let you know, all right, we're not going to move forward at this point.
I think that's more of like a guy thing, because like as a man, they're like, I owe someone an explanation. It's the right thing to do. This is the way I see it. I think if a woman ghosts you, you have to take accountability for it. Why did she ghost me? Is it because I'm a loser? Is it because I'm broke? Because for me, like, I don't ever feel like I've ever been ghosted by a woman. Not recently, at least. Maybe when I was broke, I got ghosted by women, but women stopped ghosting me once I had the bag. You know, so it's like
you had something that they wanted.
Yeah. So
or
I feel
a lifestyle that they could have.
I think like 5 years ago, we probably would have been ghosted. Now it's harder to ghost us. You know, if a woman ghosts me, my Facebook ads pop up on her Instagram, and now she like sees me and she can't escape me. She's like, oh, I should text him back. So it's like, I don't think a woman owes a man an explanation. Like I can see why you would ghost people.
It also depends, like, were you guys like talking for a long time? Like, I'm not gonna ghost somebody that I actually had like a thing with.
Right.
You know, but if it's like the beginning stages and I just see it's not gonna go.
Yeah, if it's like a Tinder swipe or something like that, and you've been speaking for a couple of days. Okay.
And it's like, just.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting with social media. I think because if you're running ads and you could just keep popping up in somebody's ecosystem, even if you're not talking anymore, I think with social media, if you're in the same proximity, somehow you can't avoid that person because they might be in the same sort of circles that, you know, you're running.
Oh, yeah.
So even if let's say you were together for like a year or whatever, and you're like, all right, you can ghost that person or something. Well, maybe not a year, but let's say you're talking for a few weeks and you think, all right, I could go ahead and ghost. But let's just say if you were both in the same location, you knew the same people, you follow the same people on social media, probably can't really ghost them because you'll keep popping up unless they block you.
Yeah, so the thing is, though, the way I see it, right, it's like, if I look at dating almost like a business. Dating is almost like a business, right? It's a market. The dating marketplace, the business marketplace. Let's say you're talking to someone, because here's the truth. I DM'd her, she ghosted me. For the very first time, she ghosted me. I invited her to the Maldives to stay in an underwater hotel.
That's an ick.
That was your pitch?
That's an ick for me.
That's a flex.
No, it's not a flex. It's an ick. Because it's like, who do you think you are? DMing me, talking about, let's go on a trip. It's like, you don't know me. Who do you think I am that I'm just going to hop on a plane with
High five, by the way. High five. You're a good girl for that. Because a lot of girls are like, ooh, trip.
So you're
like, oh, yeah.
The cold open to hey, you want to go to the Maldives? That was just how it...
That's how...
Nah. That's a green flag for me because I'm like, she's not the type of girl that just go on.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's an ick. Because like, you have
if money can buy a girl
of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a perception that, oh my God, Maldives, I'm gonna go. Like, no, just because it's like no. So that's an ick.
So, but anyways,
that's interesting.
She ghosted me, but how I got her was just organic marketing strategy. I'm running ads. She sees my ads pop up. She sees my stories. She sees my life. She sees what I'm about, and she's like, you know what? He's deeper than the Maldives. I'm gonna give him a chance.
And then you ended up at the Maldives.
And then here we are. We didn't even have to go to the Maldives.
Interesting.
We ended up at McDonald's.
Now ask me to go to the Maldives, huh?
Too late, baby.
Oh, well,
Ship and sail.
Yeah, good answer. See, that's interesting. Cause I didn't know this. This is nice.
Yeah.
Because social media, it allows you to have. I tell every guy this: don't be needy with a girl. If you want to like get a girl, get her on social media and live a cool life. Travel, have fun, make money, go to the gym. Because she'll see that and she'll be like, oh, okay, he goes to the gym, he's in shape. Oh, okay, because it's super cringy. You're not going to go to a girl and be like, girl, look at my six-pack. Gross. Like, she's going to be like, ew, gross. This guy's disgusting. But if you just post it on your story, yo, look at my abs. On your story, look at me in the gym. Yo, look at me traveling. She's like, oh, this guy's interesting. He has an interesting life. Yeah. Right? And now you DM and be like, oh, hey, how are you? How you been? She sees your life already. She knows. She's like, oh, he DM'd me. And now she responds. And guess what? You start talking. And then you develop a relationship organically. And then boom, you don't have to spend the Maldives. You just give them a Pop-Tart.
Let's say if you're somebody who has nothing on your profile, you have just one photo or something, then you send a pitch, hey, you want to go to the Maldives. You think that would work?
Nope.
But if you have the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Then it
but
could.
even the lifestyle doesn't work. It didn't work on her.
Right.
No,
like the Pop-Tart did more than the Maldives, which is crazy to think about.
And that was based off conversation, thus finding out.
That means you're a good woman, my love.
Yes. Yeah, I think what got me like to trust him or be interested is actually seeing like his stories, because he posted a lot of like quotes, and I love quotes. He always posted quotes that I liked. I was like, ooh, I really like this quote. I feel it. I could see that he had like a spiritual side. You know, I got to see more what's in his brain. So I was like, ooh, I like this. And then the traveling, it just looked like the lifestyle that like would fit my lifestyle. And then I was like, okay, we have things in common.
Hey, yo, for $9.99 a month, I'll send you the quotes to post on your story.
So yeah.
No, but that's, I mean, it works. It's just you warm them up. You warm them up. There was a statistic, and it said, in order for a man to sleep with a woman, it's not how many dates you take them on, it's the amount of time you spend with them. Because for a woman, they need to get comfortable to sleep with a guy. They're not just going to bust it open for anyone.
Right.
So if they're seeing you all the time on social media, they feel like they know you, you know? So, but you brought up something interesting. You said if you have nothing on your social media, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't, because it's like you're a weirdo. Scary, right? I think everyone should, social media is like your new way of dating. Like it or not.
But there's a little trend going on, a meme that girls are like posting and sharing that they love a guy that is private, has like 50 followers, off the grid. That is a thing that like girls are really into. And you can be like, all you want, but it's true.
Who gets laid more? Who gets laid more? The guys with 1 million followers?
It's all lip service. It's all lip service. Because they'll say that they're interested in that until you have that. Because you're not gonna find that, because you don't see the lifestyle, you don't see anything.
Yeah, but I mean, if you meet somebody, okay, the only way it would work is if you meet them organically, like outside.
Right. If you meet them
like,
organically outside,
internet.
right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like it would be a really great catch, like finding a guy outside who has his shit together. You know, he's good looking, blah blah blah, and is off the grid. That is ideal, I feel like. Because then you don't have to deal with all this shit that he posts on the internet, who he's talking to on the internet. He doesn't have like
options.
At least, but here's a caveat though. Let's just say it's all right. You meet this person in person. Online, they're not big, but in person, they have a massive network. Yeah. They're pretty much where it's the same as somebody who's online, but it's just in person. Yes. So let's just say if it's somebody who's frequenting Vegas, they're constantly at conferences, you can see that they're in high demand, but now they're speaking to you. I think there would be more paranoia. Yeah. Because since it's not online, you're in a situation where you'll never know.
Well, okay, so let's talk about, because I feel like we talk a lot about the extreme, like that 1%, but like everybody, like the majority of this world, they're not gonna date those guys that are like going to conferences, doing this, and have all these million followers. Just like the average girl here, finding a guy that has a good job and is off the grid is better than a guy that has an average job and is posting all of the shit on social media.
Yeah, but I think the issue is, right, like with these girls, they look at it and like let's say you find an average guy off the grid, but then you see a guy that's not average and he's on social media. They're not gonna want the average guy. They all want the guy that's
where
popping.
The delusion comes in.
They all want the guy that's popping.
Right.
I know, but it's a trend. Guys, look at the memes. Every girl's been saying they want a guy with a private account.
No, but every girl also says, like we did this, we talked about this on the other podcast. Every girl will be like, I want a man with no hose. I'm like, no, you don't.
You don't.
Because every girl, if you go on Twitter and you put a man with no hose, every girl says that, and it's all viral.
Yeah. We don't want a man with. Do I want you to have hose?
No.
Exactly.
But the point is,
but you want his capability of being able to get hose.
And that's a different statement. I want my man to be able to pull girls if he wanted to, but I don't want him to have.
Exactly. But do you think if a guy could pull girls, he's not gonna do it? He's like, man.
But you're not doing it.
I'm in a relationship.
Exactly, and that's what women want. Women don't want men that have hose.
Okay, so that's how are you gonna find a single man?
I don't know how you guys are taking this and making it something that is
how are you gonna find a single man with no hose though?
Right.
But do you have hose?
But he's not single. He's in a relationship.
Yeah, but that's what we mean when the quote. We don't want a man with hose. Like,
yeah, but then you would have already had the man. Now, if it's before you get the man.
Yeah, but I think that's what they mean. I think that's what they mean. When they're talking to the guy and they're being with the guy, they don't want him to have hose. Like,
no, they mean like because they're like good morning to the men with no hose only, because they don't have a boyfriend. They're single and they're looking for a man with no hose.
I think you guys are looking at it a different perspective.
But then it would be insane to say, hey, well, good morning to the taken men when you actually want the taken man who has no hose.
Yeah. So.
No, but when The girls are gonna get it. The girls
got him. That's what I'm talking about, my boy.
No, the girls, when they read that quote, they get it. They're like, yeah, I don't want my man to have hoes. Like, I want a man that I'm talking to not have hoes because I want his energy to be on me. That's what they mean by this quote. It's not like, oh, we want to pick the one that has no hoes. No, I want to be talking to the one with no hoes because that means his energy is on me.
Could you imagine how crazy it is if they just pick the ones with no hoes? Like,
we wouldn't be in the situation that the men wouldn't be in the situation that they are now, desperately trying to find women left and right. Because that makes me wonder now, if you're a guy who has no followers, no particular kind of lifestyle, private, Instagram, my take has always been you have to be able to know how to utilize Instagram if you really want to date on there, right? So here's the easiest play. I used to run this one back in the day, where you would take their post, you find a post that a woman may have posted, story, the reply to the story is one thing, but I think if you take their own post, you send it to them, and you have a comment based on the post. I'm not super lusty.
I feel like a lot of guys do that.
But you do it, but this was like when they not first started sending people, but there's the easiest way, because now you don't have to make it seem as if you're lusting after particular sort of photos. You can actually start with a conversation. You send their own post to themselves and then talk about that and grow from there, versus just, hey, what's going on? How you doing? You look nice. It can't just be an empty approach.
I think there's one thing that worked in the past that girls liked. You didn't do it.
What was it?
This was when I was, because you missed with your Maldives. It was.
Hey, that thing don't miss very often though. That's a sniper rifle. That's that 9 out of 10.
So it's sending GIFs, like how
GIF.
Okay.
GIFs. How's it?
GIF. I don't know.
GIFs. Yeah, it's like a funny one. Like humor always like just breaks the ice. So if you slide into a DM like with a funny GIF, that would work. I
don't know about it.
Just a random GIF?
Yeah, but like those GIFs that be like, hey, or like, nah. If you're cute and you got a good profile, it's gonna hit.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're cute and you got a good profile, anything hits. Maldives
right,
hits.
Exactly. Anything can hit.
All right.
I don't know. I just felt like it stood out.
Let's go to the comment. If there are any women watching this, in the comments, would you rather a guy slide in your DMs with a GIF, or hey, you want to go to the Maldives? Drop it in the comments. What are your thoughts? Do you want a guy to slide in your DMs with a GIF?
With a GIF and then like a little text underneath of it.
And a little text underneath. Or would you want him to slide in the DMs like, yo, Maldives, let's run it? What are your thoughts? And then obviously you have to consider like he has a good profile. He's not a weirdo.
Yeah, but the one that you suggested is good too. The sending the photo. But if it's like a photo that is just.
I feel like
it can't be a super provocative. I think if you can find, as shallow as it's, if you can find the worst photo, but you big that up, like you take a look at all of the photos that's on the timeline. You find what you would consider to be maybe the lowest quality or something like that.
Like
don't go years into the past. Don't do, because you don't want to go like, oh, it's 2023. Let's go get a photo from 2016. Hey, how about those hats you were wearing? That's crazy. Yeah. So to take one of the photos more recent, like within I'd say 3 to 4 scrolls, send one of those and have a comment on it, but don't have it so broad. I think it's just specific.
The best one would be finding a photo of her smiling and just sending me like, oh my God, your smile.
Yeah.
Because the smile always gets it, It's like, oh my God, he thinks I have a great smile.
And man, I got some riz. I be having some good ones. I find good opportunities. This is back before we were dating. There was one of them, a girl posted like, I guess her dad drew something for her because women love their dads. And then I was like, oh yeah, I knew your dad was an artist. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, because he made you. Ooh, boy, let me tell you, that shit was fire. Fire.
It can work. I've seen those work. How did it feel when you fell from heaven? I've seen all of those. I've seen them work. As corny as they sound, I've seen them work. I've seen them work.
I think at the end of the day, though, if you're ultimately talking about dating, you gotta just work on yourself.
Do you think a girl can slide into a guy's DM and
without question.
And like the guys still respect them the same?
Oh yeah. Dude, it depends on how. It depends on how.
I have a DM from a girl right now, and she just put "let's fuck." Swear to God.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's in my request.
Well, that's.
I haven't opened it. But yeah, no, it's
might
it's
not.
Probably one of
it
those
could
bots.
be AI.
No,
yeah,
it's
it could
like
be AI.
It's like a watch. I'll show you.
Is it a porn star?
No. It's not like a popping girl at all.
It was just random out of nowhere. Hey, let's fuck.
Well, I think for me, I have like a female audience.
See, that's just bizarre.
Yeah,
you just woke up in the morning. Oh, let's fuck. Oh, that's interesting.
Let me see.
Because I've seen.
It's not even drama. I'll show her. I don't care. I'm not gonna. I didn't respond to it.
I don't care.
You should respond to it live.
Listen, she wants a man with no hoes, and I have no hoes. I have no hoes.
Yeah, period.
Unless they unsent it. Oh, no.
Should send her an address.
So they DM'd me, hey, handsome. I didn't respond. Then 2 hours later, let's fuck.
So that was just random, like, oh, yeah, she's going into investigation.
Yeah, I don't care.
But I do think if a girl were to DM a guy, I don't think the dude would look at it. Depends on what the DM is, I think.
Why are you?
Here. It's like, you know when you hold your man's phone and he's like, let me see. I'm like, let me hold your phone in peace.
Yeah, no, because it's like.
For what? What do you think I'm going to do?
No, because like before she looked at.
Is there something in there I can't see?
No, because if you want to look, you can look. But last time she looked at like older stuff before her and it made me cringe so bad, bro.
Yeah, but like.
Because that freaks me out a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I think there's some STDs going on here. I don't know. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so it was like women sliding DMs. I don't think you could ever respect a woman the same.
At least not like that. It won't work like that.
I don't think you could respect a woman the same. I think if a woman's gonna slide in a guy's DM, she has to just be like, so like you slid my DMs, but you put like just reacted like clapping emoji.
Yeah, after like all his quotes, he got a clap.
Yeah.
I think if a woman's intentional with the slide in, it could work. It depends on how, because if you just hey or something random like that is different, right? Like it's different depending on how.
Hard eyes, a girl can slide into guys.
No, because if a girl shows too much interest from the beginning, he's like, oh yeah, she wants to fuck. That's like the first thing that goes through a guy's head. She wants it.
Yeah, but then the average guy, well, that's great for you. But
true.
It depends on, I guess, what level you might be on. Because I think there's a lot of dudes who are yearning for women to actually. But
the thing is, I feel like this is the issue. I feel like if you give a dorky guy some pussy, to all the women out there, don't ever give a dorky guy pussy, because then it makes him feel better, and then what? He's like, man, I'm the man now.
Dorks can't feel good.
Yeah, don't fucking validate them. Like
what?
Because here's my thing. I had to work really, really fucking hard. Mm-hmm. I had to go to the gym. I had to make money. I had to cultivate a personality and become funny, right? If you validate a dork, he didn't do nothing to earn that. So don't validate him.
If there's something in him, then the fuck?
And then what?
Why are you mad? Why are you hating?
But here's the thing. Would you rather get played by like a dude that worked really hard and has money and stuff and you had a good experience at least, or just a dork and get smashed? Like, let's say a girl gives it up to some dork.
What makes a guy
Well,
dork?
it depends. So yeah, exactly. I was going to so
like,
what in particular is, because I'm anti-bum. What makes you anti-dork?
Like, a guy's a dork if he's like, here's a good example of a dork. A guy that doesn't work hard for anything.
Okay.
It doesn't, like, when I think dork, I don't think like nice guy, good guy. When I think dork, I think like these guys that like are trying to be cool, but they haven't earned it yet.
Phonies? All right.
Yeah, phonies.
Okay.
Yeah, so like these guys that are trying to be cool, but they haven't earned it yet, there's nothing there's no redeeming qualities about them.
Okay.
You know, like a dork is a guy that, what's a good example? I'm trying to think of a good example of a dork. I don't know, nothing comes to mind right now. But just like guys that haven't earned it yet. Like if a guy's going to the gym, he's trying his best, he's working hard, I don't think that's a dork. I think that's a guy that hasn't reached his full potential yet.
So you're thinking like mama's basement, neck beard.
Yeah, like, a dude living with his parents. I have nothing against that, right? I mean, at a certain age, obviously, you have to look back at that. But if a guy's living with his parents... Do
you think your brother's a dork?
Yes.
Okay.
I love my brother. I love my brother. He's my best friend. Cool guy. Mm-hmm. He's a dork in that sense. Like,
but probably because is it more along the lines of him still living with your mom, or because he's still living with your mom, but comfortable,
this is the way I
unwilling to get out?
This is, yeah.
Because I think it's more, because of course when you just like, when you have
no, but if he wanted to get out, he'd be out already.
Okay.
He's 26 years old. Mm-hmm. So if he wanted to be out, he would be out already. Mm-hmm. Right? If he's 18 years old living with his parents, I get it. 24, that's dork territory. 26, dork. You know? So like your dork territory goes up as you go. Right? Another one, if you're a guy and has a bunch of roommates, and I'm not talking like Drake has roommates or Andrew Tate, he lives with his brother, like the roommates, but not really, right? You're Drake lives with like 3 dudes. They're not his roommates. Those are people that like live with him. Mm-hmm. If you're a guy that has roommates, and you're supposedly a boss, red flag. Like there's certain things.
So it's living a lifestyle or claiming to live a lifestyle that you don't really live. Yeah. I think that's ultimately where it is. Because especially when you're in a situation where, because if you say you're a boss but you're living with like room, of course you're not. So I think it's like trying to live a life that you're actually not at.
Like,
I think that's what your definition of a dork
not even that.
is.
Like, my brother doesn't claim anything. He
Right.
lives with my mom. He's comfortable with it. Still, like, he's still a dork, and I love him to death, right? And he's a nice enough guy that a girl giving him pussy won't empower him to be like, I'm the man. But like, some guys will, you know? So that's what I don't know. I just don't think, I think a man should have to earn it. I think as a woman, I think women do a very good job of like mediating this, because women don't sleep with dorks anyways. Some do. Some get tricked. But like, for the most part, some women get tricked.
They get swindled.
They get swindled, yeah. But for the most part, women do a good job of like picking guys that are worthy, I guess.
It's interesting. Dorks.
Dorks.
Yeah, because I think it's more along the lines. I think what you were trying to get at is more along the lines of somebody who just has like no ambition, no goal, no like.
But the thing is, every guy will say they have ambition.
No, everybody will. No, but I think it's not a matter of just saying. It's more of like the action. Like if you're somebody who's like, and I think that goes back to why you preferenced it, where you're saying you're a boss or you're living a particular kind of lifestyle, but your life doesn't reflect that.
It's like when people like say they're hustlers.
The dorky
and like,
thing is, yeah, exactly. Because if you're saying, hey, you know, I'm somebody who's I make this much, or I'm renting this car but claiming it to be mine, or you're pretty much going bankrupt trying to, you know, keep up with the Joneses or whatever, I would say yes, that's an individual who you can say, hey, that's a dork, because you really have no direction in life and you're lying to yourself every time that you wake up. Yeah. But if you're somebody who has a plan, you're somebody who this is temporary in your mind, it's not going to stay like that forever. Like, of course, if you're like a 46 years old, you're still living with your parents with no goal to get out, then I'd say, all right, something not right here. Like, even if unless you have some sort of religious sort of thing, or maybe it's like a family code of we're not getting out until we start our own family,
and some cultures
then I understand.
That they stick together.
Right.
No, I agree.
But I think it all comes down to what is the intention, because you could be at home with your parents, but if you've got no plan to get out at one particular point, then what? Because you can't stay there forever.
But even living with your parents, right? Like,
you're under somebody else's roof.
No, even living with your parents, there's a difference between living with your parents and your parents living with you.
Right.
If you're making $1 million a year, but you're staying with your mom, you're not staying with your mom. Your mom is staying with you. Or you're doing it for a different reason other than you can't afford it, right? Or you can't
You're taking care of your parents.
Yeah, so like a good example, if I were to move back into my mom's house, or my mom were to move in with me, right? Because we talked about it. Let's say we have kids. I would want my mom to come help take care of the kids. You know, family unit. If my mom were to move in with me, like, yeah, technically I'd be living with my mom, but not really. My mom is living with me.
Right.
So I think that's a big difference also.
Okay.
But relying on your parents.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it, because if you're relying on somebody else, then it's over. And of course, you can't sit there with no plan to not get out, because you're relying on your parents at 18, makes sense, you just got out of high school, whatever the case is. You're relying on your parents, you're now 24, say you got out of college, all right, so now what's the plan? You're 30, still relying on your parents, now it's looking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's like if you have some sort of, all right, I'm saving my money to get, you know, something else, then I get it. That makes sense. But if you've got no plan, you're just on some, hey, you know, they paying all the bills, so life is swell.
And I feel like it's tougher these days now, because it's like, I feel like rent got more expensive.
Incredibly expensive.
Like, I think back then it was easier, I guess, for people to just move out of the house, and now people are staying in their parents' house for a longer time because it is harder.
Well, no, this is the way I see it, though. Because when I look at you, you're a boss. You be killing. You're a hustler. I'm fully confident. Let's say I were to die, knock on wood, never gonna die, immortal. But if I were to die and you had all the bills that I have, you find a way to do it.
Well, I hope you will like leave me behind with something.
Because you're thinking the winners like mindset, the people who have that dog in them, where it's like, I'll throw myself to the wolves and then come back leading the pack. Those kinds of individuals, those are people who need to, you know, disconnect from the nest, because they have to test themselves, because they operate in that fight or flight. That's when they're at their best, when their back is against the wall. But those other individuals who kind of need a bit more cultivation, or whatever the case may be, I think as long as they develop a plan and they have an idea of what they envision the future to be like, and they're willing to work towards it, then they can stay where they're at. I wouldn't consider them a dork. But if you're somebody who's reliant or whatever, then of course you're a dork. And then if you're somebody who is supposed to be, hey, I'm claiming to be somebody who's like an alpha, or I'm claiming to be somebody who could be a boss, or I'm a leader. All right, cool. It's time to start doing leader shit. It's time to start doing alpha shit. So you got to disconnect at that point. So I get that.
And a big thing too, right? Like I'm very proud of everything you've accomplished. You've managed to do a lot with what you've been given. You built a social media platform. You started a business. You do a lot of your own things, right? You're like, thanks. You've done a lot of things. You know kind of like the work that goes into it. And even now with the business, like you understand how hard it is to start a business. So you have to respect the people that are able to do that. Like for you, what's your experience been with building your platform with this? Like honest thoughts, like how difficult has it been? What kind of stuff goes through your head? Because this is technically, we talk about business a lot here. So we want to get your perspective on it.
Like in general, everything?
Everything, building your social media platform.
Okay, with the social media one, I was really lucky that it wasn't like my intention to like build my platform. It was just something that I genuinely loved to do when I was young, going to college. I loved posting selfies, talking on stories, and I was able to like grow. And then the show, it helped with that. So I got really lucky with it because it came really natural. I always wanted to have like a business and stick by it, because even when I was like in college, I started like selling like wigs and having these businesses, but I like gave up because business is really hard. So it was always like ideas I start and then I stop. So this time around, I was like, okay, if I'm gonna start something, like I am 25, I don't wanna just start something to give up how I did when I was like in college. Like I need to create a business that's going to last. But it was a rude awakening because it was a lot of work, you know? It's a lot to do with the content. I think a business is actually 90% of creating content for it.
Ooh, fire. That's true.
Oh my God, it's a little pressure at times.
Draining.
You know, because hair content is not something I was used to doing. So now I'm putting myself in a different category. So I'm still trying to get used to that.
You've been killing that. I saw a video pop up on my For You though that you made.
Yeah.
There's something about hair.
It's just like, I have to like now do different type of content that I didn't do before. So that's been like hard to adjust.
Yeah. Businesses are majority content though. I feel like all of us own content businesses, so we understand.
Yeah, it's like a business is literally all content. Like you can, there's other things with it, but it's like, it is just content.
Right.
It really is. Because it's like, how are people going to know about the business? How are people going to know about the...
Well, one thing I realized too is like, both of your audiences, your audience on Instagram, they rock with you. Your audience on YouTube, they go crazy for you also. I think a big part of it is because of the content, the consistency, because you're consistent. We're consistent.
Yeah, I was consistent. I need to get back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Content is everything, and then
It is.
ultimately you can let the people know where they can find you on Instagram, YouTube.
Yes. Okay, so they can find me on Instagram, Caro Vie, and my business, Alchemy for Curls. I do have a YouTube, Caro Vie, and TikTok, Caro Vie with 3 E's in the end. And yeah.
Cool.
Right.
This has been a good one, man. This was fun. Thank you for coming on.
This was fun. Very first guest on
Yes.
the
First guest.
Yeah, the very first.
Yeah, it's a cool vibe, very natural. I did not know what to expect.
I told you, she was scared. She was scared to
I was
jump
like,
on.
babe, no, I just want to go to the
She's
gym.
like, I can't talk. But I was like, listen, we do this. We're professionals now.
Right, right. So we don't want to hold you up any much longer so you can go get that workout. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 9 of the Assiduous podcast. I am the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual.
The chiseled Adonis.
He is a serial entrepreneur, the
Filipino prince. Tycoon.
Renee Lacotte, the CEO and founder of Alchemy Curls. And this is...
We are Assiduous.
Is that the name of the podcast?